Okay, where are we? Friday, February 1st, 8 o'clock. Silence. Am I up and running? Start. Are we up? Okay, seems we're okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I thought something wrong with my machine. I came down here this morning, half an hour ago, so I looked in my mailbox and nothing, no email. No email. It's my first change of clothes in a year. The paper is out, thank you. There's 3 packages out upstairs. I nearly forgot. I went upstairs to grab a new piece of wood and to take the paper out. I forgot to take the paper out, but something was bugging me. When I got downstairs, I remembered that it wasn't out. So, okay. It's gonna be a quiet stream today. Not what we had planned at all. I was supposed to be carving those little boys' faces. That job has been put aside for a minute, and actually it's been put aside for probably a couple of weeks. There's been a bunch of changes here overnight, and the work schedule is going to change. First up, there's this. Recognize what it is, the size and shape. There's a squarish, a rectangular with a sort of a label side at the edge of it. What this is it's an emergency bit of carving we're doing. Sugi-san at the moment is printing upstairs. She's printing the latest print in our Mystique of the Japanese print series. There's been a ton of new subscriptions for it. We've got to up the stock. She's printing that. And the moment she's printing this one, I don't know, let me pop a link into the box here. So this is the one she's working on. It's actually a pair. She's printing a pair of prints. Number 15 and 16 are side by side. And she's run into a tiny problem. This print, the one I just popped the image up into, is very, very delicate hair. Extremely delicate hair. And it turns out the paper we've got for this particular batch is really, really quite rough surfaced. And she's done her test printing and she's had trouble. She can't print the delicate carved hairlines because the surface of the paper is too rough. And normally that would be a simple solution. She just gets out a blank piece of wood, puts the paper face down on it, and rubs the back with the rubbing tool so that the entire surface of the paper is calendared flat. You've seen me do that upstairs with the press. We do that. She can't do it with this print because look around the border. You can see there's a huge karazuri. Beautiful embossing on that paper. So she can't just rub the back of this sheet, otherwise it would destroy the embossing area around the outside. So she's asked me, help, what can I do? So this morning, she's going to come around 9:30 and start to get printing. So what I've got to do is I'm going to cut a special block for her that has an area just in the middle and that the outside is all cut away. So she could take her paper, put it here, and rub the back, and she will flatten just the area in the middle where the face is going to be printed, and it won't hurt the outside, around the outside, where the registration goes. So that's my job this morning, quick emergency job for her, before we get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Isn't that my most delicate block ever? I guess so, yeah, I guess so. It's certainly up there, whether it's the most delicate or the Kuchie is the most delicate, I don't know, but it's certainly up there. Okay, let's give this a go. So what it's going to be, there's going to be a bunch of banging this morning, I'm sorry. I've got to cut the lines around the outside of this. My own camera, where am I? So make a quick run around the outside and then get the hammer out. So here we go. ASMR fans, I'm sorry, but we've got a few minutes here of quite a lot of noise making. Man's got to do what a man's got to do. Don't cut the registration marks off, dude. Okay, are we ready? All set? Oh, I know what I gotta remember to do. Move the camera back so it doesn't reflect. Hey. Do I need this? I don't think so. That'll be better. Okay. What's that peel? That wasn't a peel. Give me a break. Is the camera moving? I don't know. Yeah. We almost done. We've been quiet work. Hang on a sec here. A couple minutes. Okay, I think that's enough noise. Okay, that's enough noise for today. Let's get this done. That amount of work though, you know, back before I had much experience in this, I was doing all that kind of work with smaller, tiny chisels before I got the hammer and the bigger chisel. That was crazy. I'd spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing stuff like that, and it should just be a few minutes. If we had a more traditional workshop here with a bunch of different carvers, I would never be doing that. That kind of work is for the younger guys. You know. The apprentices and stuff, of course, would be doing that kind of work in a traditional situation. Okay, let's finish off around the edges. For that, we'll get a bit closer. Maybe we'll, let's use the scope. I don't need a scope for it, but let's do it so we can get up to the line and see what's going on. Where am I? Get a better view. Okay, let's finish off this way. I know a question about power tools, pneumatic hammers. Of course, there are such things as power tools, and some of this work could be done quicker with power tools. It's okay. It's just not my taste. I know it's much more preferable for me just to have the full skill set of a traditional carver. Each person will, make their own decisions and make their own rules about this. I'd just rather keep a complete skill set myself rather than pass on half of this to a power drill. This could be done in seconds with a CNC machine. We know that. It's the kind of world we live in. But there are such things as CNC machines and lasers and 3D printing. And I get it. People are going to use those things and be very productive with them. But for me, that's not my choice. I would just rather maintain this complete skill set. It's a question of how you want to use your hours on this planet. I'm on this planet for a certain number of years, months, weeks, and days. And how I use those hours and what I do with them. And I could use some of those hours to design a machine to carve this block, and then at the end of the day stand back and press a button and watch the machine carve it. That's okay, somebody will want to do that. For me, it's more fun doing the actual carving than building the machine to do the carving. Even though in one sense it's very, not efficient. Efficiency to me means spending pleasant time in life, And this is very much pleasant time. So. This is very dry wood. It's part of the shipment of wood that we got from the old Kyoto workshop. So this is the second life of this wood. It was first used for wood blocks, we think, 1950s, perhaps 1960s, we're not quite sure. Certainly post-war, not very long after the war. So there was a workshop in Kyoto making fans, not fans for keeping people cool in the summer, but fans for Japanese dancing, Japanese traditional dancers. Kyoto's big in that kind of stuff. So, and this workshop used woodblock printing to make traditional fans. And they're long gone. These blocks were just thrown in storage, not usable for anything. Lots of them are even not complete sets, just random blocks thrown in a storage box. So they're not blocks that could be really used to make interesting woodblock prints. They have no historical value. There's nothing left but just a piece of wood. So we were able to buy a bunch of these, and we're repurposing the wood. We've planed it down thinner to get rid of the original carved pattern. We've mounted the wood, bonded it to a plywood core, and that same piece of cherry that printed those fans back in the 1950s is now being used to make our own wood blocks, our own wood block prints. So. But because of that, it's pretty dry. It's pretty dry and brittle. It's very, very well dried out, and too much so, really. But it'll do for work like this with no problem. So. Last night here in Tokyo, we had our first snow of the year. At least a touch of it. There's nothing where I am here. There's nothing on the ground this morning. It wasn't enough last night to stay to cover the ground. But I suspect it in the outskirts, in my home, Ome and stuff out there, there's probably snow cover now. I don't know how much. Not such a big deal. It's been really kind of cold the last few days. Well, same as many places, America, Europe. There's been real cold snaps. And here in Japan too, it's been pretty bitterly cold for a while. We had not such a cold winter so far, but we're making it. Okay, just one more line. I'm done. Okay, I think we're done. Okay, we are. What's our time? 30 minutes? I wish all blocks only took 30 minutes. That's an easy one, of course. So you can see the idea. The print will go in the corners here, she'll rub the back, and just the central area will become flat. She'll wash this paper off before she gets going. Oh, is that corner out? Wait a minute. One corner. Dave, finish off carefully. Yes, one corner not done, sorry. This block won't be used with pigment, it'll just be used just with a light dab of water and some paste. So we don't have to worry too much about the outside areas being carved shallow, being carved deeper. Okay, now we're done. Haven't seen comments, sorry. Well, you guys are pretty quiet, good. Okay, good, done. Sugu-san should be here any minute now, and she can use this to get started with her work today. Okay, that's it. Now, my own real work this morning is something else. You saw me working on the little boys' heads, carving and tracing. That's not what's going to be happening this morning. What's going to be happening this morning is this. Regular viewers know what this is all about now. We need a small pad, which we are going to make wet. And moisten this pad. I need my Baron. And I need some prints. What did I do with them? Here we are. Let's pull these up here, have a look. It's a rare event, something that happens here once every 6 weeks or so. Recently it's been about 6 weeks, sometimes it's 2 months, sometimes it's 1 month. In general it happens about every 6 months, 6 weeks. Yesterday afternoon we received a package from Yamamoto-kun, our #1 outside carver, outside printer. My God, I can't even speak English this morning. And yes, it's another batch of the Great Waves. The Great Waves. He's come through. The last batch was here about 4 weeks ago, and he's really got onto it. He's got another batch here, and they look fantastic. I don't know. Those of you who are following the sizing upstairs know that we had a bit of trouble with the sizing about 6 weeks ago, I guess it was, somewhere around there. The table upstairs became way too cold. I did some sizing with Nikawa glue that was a bit too strong for the temperature, and the printers complained. They had real trouble getting smooth color. on their prints. And it's especially noticeable on the back. When you look at the back of some of the prints, the printers upstairs, you might see a speckled pattern on the back of some of the prints. You can see it a little bit here on the back. Instead of being totally smooth, you can see a sort of a dot texture. And the glue congealed too quickly before the glue had a chance to smoothly kind of spread out through the paper. And an inexperienced printer, when faced with paper like that that's been sized poorly, struggles mightily with it. And an inexperienced printer, when you look at the front of the print, you can see the same dot textured pattern. I don't have one here to show you right now, but whatever. So Yamamoto-kun, the young boy who did these for us, when he first tested this paper, he must have thought, oh my God, Dave has screwed up again. He's got the sizing too speckled. But he's a pro, and he just adjusts the moisture, adjusts the pressure. Maybe he does some of the impressions twice lightly instead of once strongly, and he works through it. And he has come back with a fabulous deck. I sent him 60 sheets of paper, expecting maybe to get 50 prints back. And I counted them last night, and there were 59 beautiful copies of The Great Wave here. So Cameron from yesterday afternoon, he started notifying people on our waiting list. Of course, there's 300 plus people on the waiting list. We've got 59 prints, so he doesn't send out 300 emails to everybody, of course. He works through the list bit by bit, sending out emails 10, 15, 20 at a time. So if you're near the top of the waiting list, then you may be getting a notification in the next few days. And I'm so proud of our print, you know. It is done so well, and we are getting better and better at this as it goes along. I shouldn't say this because some people might be upset with me, but when we did The Great Wave here in 2014 for our new shop, we got the first prints shipped in 2015. They were nice, they were fresh, they were clean, but we are getting better at this as we go along. The gradation is getting smoother. The blocks actually now are getting, the color blocks are getting a bit saturated with pigment. So it's easier to make smooth color on these color blocks now that they've been used 1,000 times. And the key block, which you suspect might be wearing out, is still absolutely pristine. We measure these, we put them under the scope, we check. Yamamoto-kun is really taking care of that key block very well. We're now up to, I forget, 1,400, we're nearly 1,500 copies. And this block is in magnificent shape. It's sharp, clean, the faces have eyes. There's no way you couldn't tell the difference between copy number 1,400 here and copy number 1, except that actually this one, as I said, is better. The colors are getting deeper and richer. This is part of the reason we do this in small batches. You know, we do 50, 60 at a time. If we did 200, 300 at a time, the block gets soft with the water. They get totally scratched. Keeping it in small batches is critical to making the block last a long time. Look at this. This is copy number like 1,400. These tiny lines, they're still okay. Can you see that place where we had a pop and a break? I split the block here when I was carving it. We fixed it. It's still in perfect condition. I tell you, this is a print to die for. We are doing such a beautiful job of these. Sales talk, whatever, it doesn't matter. Beautiful smooth gradation. The wood grain now, there was wood grain pattern here on the first 100, 200, 300, 500 copies. The wood grain is now almost completely disappeared as the block gets worn well. The key block is cherry with a boxwood insert. The lettering is boxwood. The rest of the block is cherry. We can't get boxwood this big, and you can't laminate up a key block because the divisions will never ever perfectly line up. They'll swell and shrink. But we can use boxwood for a small area like this. I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy with this. We're so proud of this, you know. I want one myself. You know. Question here, I see my name in dark. The spider print, when will it be back? I don't know. Ayumi-san is struggling. She's running out of all of her prints. She's trying to carve a new one. I don't know. A couple of weeks probably. It won't be months and months and months. Ayumi-san's prints, she does them in small batches, about 20 at a time. So I think it'll be back in stock very quickly. Anyway, what I've got to do, as you know, I've got to now emboss these prints with the name. We've got an embossing block. Well, let me just do some and I'll show you after I get started here. When we got these prints yesterday, I had been worried about them because I knew the paper had been not such good quality. So I was really afraid that we may have to throw a bunch of them away. And when I opened them to inspect them, I was just so freaking happy. So what we did was, when Cameron was here yesterday, we counted them up quickly, 59. We sent a payment straight away to Yamamoto-san. And we bonused him a little bit on this. Do you think your Great Wave is the best one being produced right now? The argument could be made that our Great Wave is the best version that's ever been produced. Absolutely, ever been produced. I don't know. We talked about this a bit in the videos. You know, I say this in the shop sometimes. I might get in trouble for this. You know. Only something. Where is it? I got to show you. Just hang on a sec. Let me get something to show you. Hang on. We keep these handy. We do this in the shop. In fact, I was asking somebody in the shop. There was a couple in here yesterday, day before yesterday. I don't even know what day it was. There was a couple here, and the wife wanted to buy the Great Wave, and the husband said, "No, it's just iconic. It's cliched crap. We don't need that. We don't need that." And I didn't interfere. We don't sell stuff in the shop to customers at all. We don't sell things at all. They picked something else. They came to the counter and we were talking about it. And then the wife said to her husband, "Come on, let's buy the Wave." And he said, "No, I told you, it's just too cliche. You can get this anytime, anywhere." And whatever, I did step in and say something that, you know, we were making our Wave. There's something, can I mention to you just something about this? I tried to gently, not try to sell them the print. I just wanted to explain what we were doing. Let me just show you. These things here, I've got 2 copies. These are photocopies. And the photocopy number 1, this is the Great Wave that's in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They think it's, whatever, it's an old print. It's from the era back there. The very first one made or not, we don't know. And what I do, I show these people these two prints. One is a Metropolitan copy, and the second one I've got here is a photocopy of a print as for sale in a shop down the street. Doesn't matter, we don't need to know their name, it's okay. And the point that I tell the people in the shop is this. When you look at the old prints in the old days, remember that they weren't made as art. Nobody was hanging these on the walls. This was printed matter in sort of the same way we might print a newspaper or a magazine or a poster these days. There was no question of longevity. It was just, let's print this thing efficiently, make some money, and out we go. And it turns out that because of that, the printing in the old prints quite frequently is really, really not so nicely done. They were printed extremely quickly. And this copy, for example, in the Met, you can see the printing here. There's scratches here. There's some printing that the brush guy rubbed his brush sideways. There's a bit of stuff that looks funny on Mount Fuji. They didn't really care because it didn't matter. It wasn't prime art. So the printing was not done so well. But the carving, and if you look at this part down here for a couple of examples, the carving is done in absolute perfect replication of the original brushstrokes, because the carvers, that was just their job. They just carved the shape they saw. There was a brush stroke written by a brush carefully, neatly by the designer or the people in the publisher's workshop, paste it down and carve it. So the point I'm trying to make was in the old ones, the carving is masterful. The carving catches the original designer's brush strokes really, really carefully, but the printing is kind of careless. So keep that in mind. Now, let's switch over. Let's look at the 20th century version, the one on the print shop down the street. Now, they know now that people are buying this as art. This is no longer pamphlets. This has become art. So the printing is now done, quote, carefully. The gradation is smooth and black. The blue is deep and rich. There's no scratchiness in the printing because they know that people want to see this as art. But, the carving. Can we zoom in and compare these two together? Here's the Met copy. Brush strokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, careful brush strokes. The modern copy, just funny shaped lines. no sense or feeling that they've been carved by a brush at all. Look at this, right? See this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zoom. This one is up here on the wave. Am I in the camera here? These strokes have energy. There's energy here. The modern one, nothing, no energy. Look at this down here in the sea. They've carved the water, the old one. It's sharp on the bottom, fuzzy on the top. Sharp on the bottom, fuzzy. There's a sense of three-dimensional feeling there. It's a wave. The modern one, straight. Cut shapes. So the point being, again, the old ones have masterful carving and awful printing, and the modern ones have god-awful carving and reasonable printing. Look at this, they've even made the foam all round circles. The old one has the foam in scattered energetic shapes. So you know where this story is going. With our print, I'm looking at this, so what am I going to do with mine? For the carving, of course, I'm trying to copy those old lines, of course. Where's the Met copy here? Bring the Met copy out, my copy out. I'm sorry, zooming in and out. There's the Met copy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small strokes. Dave's copy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're trying to replicate as closely as possible. You saw me, I traced it. It took me months and months to trace it and get it ready. And then for printing, what are we doing? Of course, we are trying to make neat, clean, tasteful printing, because we know that people are going to hang this on their wall and enjoy it as art. Those lines, sharp at the bottom, fuzzy on the top, beautiful smooth gradations, foam that has all different shapes and speckles. So when you ask me, is this the best great wave being printed these days? And I said, well, I think this might be perhaps the best great wave that's whatever. We're very proud of this. If you go pre-war, Taisho Meiji, the reproductions being made back then, they were also very nice. Very nice. Because the carvers were good at what they were doing, and the printers were good at what they were doing. Anyway, I got to get some work done here. There's one thing we do get a bit criticized about, actually, and I've had people in the shop tell me this when I tell them that story. This is an interesting point. There's the shop from the other. There's the print, the copy in their shop. Look at this. The sky is a deeper toned. We can see that cloud. The blues are smooth and rich. The yellow here on the boat is really quite yellow. What they've done is they've made this print a lot warmer and more friendly. Over the years, it's gradually been warmed up. They're using warmer tones instead of cooler tones. With me, I've told our printers, I've instructed them, absolutely, I want a freezing cold print. We've taken our sky, sent it back. I don't want to see that funny ghost woo in the sky. I don't want to see that. It's there, but you have to look closely for it. I want cold. I mean, these men are about to die in a freezing cold ocean. This is a horror story. This is not a friendly, happy wave and a cloud and let's go play on the beach. These men are gonna die. And I want you to see and feel that chill and that coldness in the print. So the blues we're using are cold, freezing cold blue tones. And I don't want any warmth in the boat or the sky. And that's my take on it. And that's my prerogative. I'm the publisher here. I'm the one that chooses how this is gonna, the look and feel are from Hokusai, but the feel and whatever, you get what I'm getting at. None of this happy, friendly, warm. Anyway, that's our great wave. I don't know how long the block's going to last, but it doesn't matter. The blocks so far are looking really good. We're guessing maybe about 3,000 copies we'll be able to do. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, because once we see the blocks starting to go, Chon-san, my partner here, the other carver working for us, we're going to find a good piece of wood. The piece of wood is already set aside for the next version of our wave. We've got the new piece of wood. Chon-san already has my tracing. We don't need to trace it again, because I've got my Photoshop file of the tracing. We'll paste it down on a new piece of wood, and he will go for it. So we will be publishing this version, our version of the Great Wave, pretty much in perpetuity, I think. What are other woodblock professionals in Japan saying about my Great Wave? I don't know. I don't talk to the other guys in town anymore, you know. I'm technically part of the Woodblock Craftsmen's Association, but I haven't been to a meeting now in 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, I don't know. We don't have much communication with them. It's getting very, very difficult to talk to those people because of the difference in philosophy, the difference in the approach to the work, and honestly speaking, the difference in quality. So. Anyway, I've got to get going. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We have a plastic jushiban, plastic polymer plate. Where am I here? On the piece of cardboard here. And it's in reverse printing. It's type. It says, A picture, Katsushika Hokusai, Hori Buru David, Suri Yamamoto Shun. And it would have been really nice to have this embossed while the paper was still wet, while the printing was going on. But Yamamoto-san, he doesn't want to do that. He's too busy for that. So this is my job, and it's okay because I get a chance to check the prints as we're doing it. So what we do is this: a tiny bit of moisture, we dampen the paper in that corner. Just quickly dampen the front surface of the paper into hand-drawn registration marks. My baron goes on the back. The quality goes in before the name goes on. And there we now have our embossing. Can we zoom in? I guess zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. And there we have it. E Katsushika Hokusai, Hori Buru Davido, Suri Yamamoto Shun. E picture, Hori carving, Suri printing. The three partners in crime here. Me and Yamamoto-kun and Hokusai. And we are all very, very happy and very, very proud with what we're doing here. Okay, this is it now for me for the next hour. 59 sheets of paper. Jitsan, good morning. Thank you very much. The t-shirt, what do you call it? Sweatshirt that you bought, sent for yesterday. Very nice. Nice fit, warm, very happy. Thank you very much, friend, for this. Nice. Nobody here has the slightest idea what this means. None of the staff. None of them understood it at all. They asked me, what university is this from? The University of MYST. What would that stand for? Something technology. This is Twitch. Wearing a gaming sweatshirt on Twitch is probably not so unusual, I guess, right? It's probably par for the course. Is there a missed channel on Twitch? Am I on the wrong channel here? Should we rename our channel? and tech, Nick. So, science and tech. Or ST, School of Technology or something. Let's see. "8:55, Cameron's late this morning. I wonder if he's stuck. We had our party last night. It was our Shinnenkite. Our New Year's party was last night. Is he hungover? I don't think so. Cameron doesn't do that. He drank, I think he was drinking mango juice last night. I wonder if I should check my mailbox, see if there's a late note or something, or not coming or whatever. Nope, nothing in the mailbox. Very low mail this morning. Makes me suspect something's wrong with the mail server. Actually, there's something I can tell you before Cameron gets here. It was a funny episode last night. We had the party last night. There was about 20 people there. It was all the current employees. We also had Louis Chan was coming. Louis Chan just finished working for us in December. She went to get a real job. But it turned out we owed her a bit of money from leftovers on extra work in December. And Cameron knew she would be coming to the party last night. So he prepared an envelope with a bit of money for her, just the last little pay for her instead of transferring to her bank account. So when he went to the party last night, he had two little envelopes full of money, not full of money, envelopes with pay for two of the people who were coming. No problem. So he sits with his back to the window. We get a room with a long, thin room, nice windows, view of the sky tree. Cameron sits on one side, I sit on the other side. And he gets his stuff ready. He opens his bag and gets out these envelopes and things ready so that he can pass them out to the people when he sees them. No problem, just gets his paperwork ready. He got his camera, stuff like this. And he put the envelopes against the wall, just against the window, chop, getting ready so that when Louis Chan came, he could pass the envelope and pay her. Nothing wrong. It turns out the way the thing is built, there's a little slot in the floor, and he puts the envelopes there, and shoop, down they go and disappear. And we're like on the 4th floor, and there's the big office building, and there's a little slip there, and he put these envelopes, and shoop, one of them fell right down, and it is gone. An envelope full of money, her pay for December, and it's somewhere in the innards of the building, and it's gone. So we don't panic about this, whatever. We're in the middle of a party, we're getting ready, people are coming. And we call one of the staff members, like, does this happen before? Do you know what to do? And the staff member's like, what did you, oh my God, no, I mean, we're building, we can't take the window out, and the manager comes and looks and says, well, after you're out of here tonight, we can call a construction company, they can start lifting the windows out with a crane from outside. And we're like, wait, there's only a couple $100 this envelope, we can't start paying $1,000 for crane rental, whatever. So, end of the story, nothing we can do. There's an envelope gone down in the innards of that wall of that building. And Cameron's like, oh my God, what have I done? He's feeling really bad about this. And look, Cameron, forget it. Let's have our party. It's okay. We'll just roll it into the cost of the party. It's not like it was thousands of dollars or something like this, whatever. So we just forget it and let it roll. Time rolls on. Cameron, he's probably the first one to leave. We've been here an hour and a half or something, and Cameron's getting edgy. He looks at his watch, and I know he wants to get on the train and go home to his wife and kids. That's it. That's his style. He doesn't want to sit here and drink and talk with the guys for so long. So Cameron's the first one to leave. Before he leaves, we get a group photograph. And I don't have it. It's on somebody else's camera here. Maybe Cameron will have the photograph today. Who knows? So we'll have a group photograph. And then Cameron says, sayonara, and out he goes. And he's gone. So no problem. We have the party. We keep drinking. We enjoy ourselves a little bit. People one by one start to break up and leave. Day-chan was there last night, young Day-chan. She had to leave early too because she's only 16 and it's 2 hours home for her. So no problem, long story short, we have a nice little pleasant dinner, nice little pleasant party, chance to chat with each other. And we're getting ready to break up and the manager comes back in and says, I'm sorry about that, nothing we can do. And we say, no sweat. But now that it's cleared up a little bit, let's have a look. And Aoyama-san, I get over there and we can't see anything, there's just this slit, maybe like 4 millimeters, maybe a 1/4 inch slit in this building. And we have no idea. It's foot deep, 2 feet deep. It goes right down to the first floor. We don't know. But Aoyama-san, I have an idea. I said, look, why don't we get a thin piece of, like a ruler. Let's get a long ruler. Let's get some double-sided sticky tape at the end of it and stick it down there and see like what we can find. So Aoyama-san quickly runs back to the shop here. This restaurant is just around the corner. He runs back to the shop and he gets, it's here. He gets this piece of acrylic. You know where this story is going. He gets this piece of acrylic and he rolls some tape along the end of it. And I'm sitting there watching it. He gets this against the wall and starts feeding it down through this slot. Pum, pum. And something sticks. I got something. He picks up a menu. See, there's all kinds of stuff down there. So he pulls up a menu and the manager's like, oh my God, he takes this menu. It's from like 2 years ago. We didn't have this menu for And Nui-chan is sitting there. The girl who's supposed to get this money is just sort of sitting there like this. And you know where the story is going. He puts his sticky tape again, he feeds it down, and we're all thinking, Aoyama-san's digging around, he's got this thing done. He can't really feel what's happening, just all he can feel is there's something, and he's thinking, a bit of a sticky, it sticks, and he pulls it up and up and up and up and up and up, and there's the envelope with the money. The place breaks into great applause. We should have made a movie of it. We should have had a camera running on this. So it was fantastic. And Nui-chan's all happy. Aoi-san gives her the money and away we go. But that happened after Cameron left. So he doesn't know we saved the money. Where is he? It's 9 o'clock. Cameron, get over here. So let's see how long I can keep a straight face when he gets here. I wish I was still doing story a week. There are just so many stories. We could do freaking a story a day if I had time to do it. But I'd love to get back to story week. It was so much fun. Once a week collecting a story, an episode that had happened, sometimes from the current week, sometimes from the memory. There are just so many stories. Oh, the train's late because of the snow. I said there was a bit of snow here in Asakusa last night, so maybe out where he lives there was much more snow. Maybe the trains are delayed because of snow. I don't know. This isn't the last stage of checking for these prints. I went through the pile quickly last night to see if they were, how they were. And there are places in the sky, there's a bit of paper bark and stuff like this. This particular one looks clean, but I will have to go through the whole stack here one by one, very, very carefully. This particular batch of paper is not so bad. No blanketing here. But I said it started to snow last night. It rained first, and then it turned to snow just as I was crashing about 11 o'clock last night. It started to flake down. But there's nothing outside where I can see now. The streets are dry, and there's no snow on the ground where I am here in Asakusa. Out in Ome, my home out there, is traditionally more snowy than here downtown. So there could be snow in the suburbs or up at higher elevations. Where I am here right now in central Tokyo, there's no snow on the ground. Yeah, I'm in the shop usually. I know I'm out in February for 10 days. I'm over in Canada in the middle of February. We're having a family meeting. Other than that, I'm in the shop pretty much most days. You know, if I'm not actually here in the room when you come in, ask the girls. I could be upstairs doing something. I'm not sure what to say. You know, I mean, I don't want to guarantee that I will always be here every minute of every day, because we're trying actually to wean me away from the shop a bit more. There's lots of other work I should be doing that don't involve sitting in the shop, you know. But of course, people come and they want to see me. So this is a bit of a paradox, and we're not sure how to handle this as we go forward, you know. People watch the YouTube videos, they'd like to come and say hello. But I can't spend the rest of my life sitting here in the shop greeting YouTube viewers, you know. So at the moment, as it stands, I'm here most days, most times. But so if you're really, really concerned about it, and you're really worried that you might not get a chance to meet me or whatever, just keep your schedules open or something, or, you know, come one day and then come back another day later in the week or something. So how often do I get to Ome these days? It's really just once every couple of months. I haven't been there now since, when did I go? Just before Christmas? I can't remember. Regular viewers here know my Ome schedule depends on the length of my hair. Oh, here he is. Cameron is here. Okay. He's late. He got so drunk last night. I tell you, he's been unconscious. All that mango juice. I thought it was grapefruit juice. Coconut juice. I saw you with coconut juice and mango juice. And the snow ruined everything. Got his late slip. Here we are. What does it say? 50. Wait, this says 15 minutes late, and you're actually 30 minutes late. Come on. So that's what happened to the missing? Just throw that stuff. Not feeling good, so we had a late night. Throw that stuff on the counter there. You want me to keep this? Yeah, right. Please bring it, or add it to my collection. This is Cameron, always stuck to his bottle. Yeah. Baby bottle, actually, whatever. So. Yeah. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Just grab it now. It's a 907. Okay. 907. Yeah, throw it on the counter. I'll sort it out when we get there. It's the party paper, actually. Oh, okay. We turn this around. It's for a few minutes. How long has Cameron been the boss at Mokohanka? It hasn't started yet. I was just telling just now, chatting about that. I'd forgotten to tell them there was a party. We were talking about the Great Wave first. You know, these waves are so freaking nice. The wood grain is now gone. They're just wonderful. So we were talking mostly about the wave. You know. Yeah. I just mentioned a few minutes ago we had a party last night. I'd sort of forgotten to tell people about it. Yeah. It's what's called a Shinnen show in Japan. So. It was nice, really pleasant time, you know. Yeah. You were the first one to leave, but after you left, actually, I was afraid that after you left quite early, it would sort of break up. People would run for the exits. Yeah. It didn't happen. Oh, okay. I know the first one next to leave was maybe half an hour after you left. Rei-chan, because she's young, she has to get home. And she has a long ride. And it's an hour and 45 minutes. And what happens is that at the end of it, because it was so late, she has to phone her dad to come and pick her up at the station. He doesn't want her walking home from the station in the dark. Yeah. And he's a doctor. He's up early in the morning, so he would already gone to bed. Yeah. So she was a bit nervous. She wanted to clear out. So we told her clearly, don't make trouble. Go. Yeah. What a lovely batch. Great way. They are fantastic. I oversold them a bit hard. I'm sorry. I was just so pleased, you know, the sizing was so bad, and the kid came through just so nicely. And one after the other, just beautiful.
so nicely despite the difficulty.
Yeah, so it makes me think I should roughen him up a bit, give him more hard, make it more difficult for him, and he comes through,
Wow.
I shouldn't have said this, but I was chatting with him about the problem we had last night with the envelope. I'm sorry, Cameron. You shouldn't make people look like a fool. Cameron did nothing wrong. He didn't know there was this hole there. So it was funny.
Slipped.
It's okay, Cameron. The story is worth the money. It's okay. It's just a fun story. So, it could have been me if you and I had been switched in places. I'd have put the envelope there and zoop, down it would have gone, So it's not that you did anything wrong. So I'm sorry, just to tell a funny story about you. It's okay.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
It's okay. No, it's not stupid because nobody would know. Nobody would expect it. So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I heard Aoyama-san found it.
Oh, you heard already? I was
heard. No.
Look at this. Somebody spoiled the story.
No, not from them. Several people sent me messages last night saying, we found it.
Sticky tape on the bottom. So it's the way the Mokuhankan rolls. Dave thinks of something and Aoyama-san executes. So it's...
Yes.
Is that today?
Yes.
That's good. Okay. We were thinking you didn't know. Sorry about that. Well. I was trying to set you up, that's all. So. What, somebody emailed you or?
Suga-san and Lei-chan, the printer.
So. The manager was just happy that we weren't tearing apart his building even more. I had visions. He started to pull that molding out. I
was like, no, just...
That window is going to pop out and hit somebody 4 stories below, and we're going to be sued, and just leave it alone. I don't care.
Oh, man.
It was fun. It was fun. And then it turned out to be Doi-san's birthday this morning, So
yeah, I didn't know that.
No.
That's great.
But just for the stream people, as part of the party last night, we were, thinking about the crew here at Mokuhankan. And we've got people, teens. The young Rei-chan is in her teens. She's 17. We've got a couple of people in their 20s. We've got a bunch of people in their 30s. That's the biggest group in their 30s. Most of the shop staff is in their 30s. We've got a bunch of people in their 40s. The Omi staff is all in their 40s. It's not easy to mention that. We got one in her 50s. We don't need to talk about names and stuff. And then we had 2 in their 60s. Me and Doi-san. And that's no longer true. We now only have 1 in his 60s and 1 in the 70s. He graduated. Doi-san is 70 today. It's his birthday today. So we have staff from 17 to 70. It's exactly. So.
Everyone gets along. It's a nice range of ages.
I think so. There's probably people that don't quite happy with each other, but for the most part, I don't have any sense of.
Oh, I'm working with him again today.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I haven't seen that at all.
What was fun last night too was that there's people who have never met each other.
Yeah.
There's some of the staff only works 1 or 2 days a week, and they're on regular
every week,
the same day, so they never meet each other.
Yeah, so people who've been here for a year or more still haven't met some of the other people. I had never met Seki-san until yesterday.
Yeah, Soka. Yeah. She had never been in the shop here.
That's right.
So she came after we finished last night. She wandered over to have a look at it. She'd never seen her print.
Oh wow! She's never seen her.
No, she's never seen her print.
Come to a print party.
I chatted with her about what's coming next, what to do next.
Yeah. You have some more print party picture ideas?
She and I chatted about it. I don't want any more like kids stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem is, everybody knows this wave. But what other ukiyo-e print is there that everybody knows? There really isn't any that everybody knows. Yeah. So for the first stop was let's pick another iconic image. But there are no other iconic images. But there are iconic styles. People could look at them and say, oh, that's Japanese woodblock print. So what we do next needs to look like a classic Japanese design, even though people may not be able to recognize exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And it's mixed feelings. One thing I'd like to do is have different genres. This is a landscape print we have now. I'd like to have maybe an actor print or a beauty print or something.
That's pretty famous.
Yes,
The Man with the Two
but as soon as you have a face, you now have eyes and a nose and a mouth, and it's thin lines. And if somebody presses a bit too hard, I mean, even the wave we're doing now, the microwave, lots of people press too hard, and those thin lines get blah blah blah. It doesn't matter because they see the overview.
Right.
But if it's a face, they're going to see the eyes, and it won't look good.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know unless there's enough faces.
Yeah. Some can be blurry, some can be clean.
Or just distribute the pressure more evenly. So I don't know. She and I talked about how to do this. It's got to be foolproof and yet recognizable and enjoyable as an ukiyo-e print.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy task. Then one of the downsides with the microwave that we're doing is it doesn't show color layers. When we did that little Momotaro print, the little childish print, it may have been a childish design, but it really did show easily and clearly. You print yellow, you print blue, you get green, you print yellow, you print red, you get orange,
Yeah, the colors mixed really nicely.
Yeah. And that doesn't happen at all in the microwave print in the party room. Nothing. So there's many competing things to think about. Anyway, she's starting to think about it, might throw me some ideas.
Cool.
So the basic thought at the moment is to ask her, try and come up with an ukiyo-e design. It could be even original or it could use components from classics. But I wanted that people would look at it and think, that's a Japanese classical ukiyo-e print.
Right.
Even if they wouldn't know which one as they do this one.
We're asking how many total staff does Mokuhankan have? We pay around 25 people? Is that what we're up to?
You tell me, I don't really know. I don't have we put that list in the New Year card thing.
And it grows and grows every
I think there's probably one right there. Those right under my jacket there. Yeah.
Open one of these since we can't use the envelope anyway.
It's also a question of how do we count it. For example, Yamamoto-kun, who did this print, he's not on that list because he is technically an outside contractor.
Right.
I mean, this is not David being like Uber, being evil, trying to categorize people as outside contractors. They don't pay tax. This is his choice. He is an outside worker who does piecework for us. So Yamamoto-kun and Kubota-san are both not on that list. How many names are on it?
23, and then if you add those two outside printers, that does make it 25.
Okay, there's changed since then. I mean, on here now, there's Louis-chan on here, and she's gone now. She had a real job. And then we swapped out. There's now Kira-chan.
Oh, yeah,
she's come in and she's out. So we've got one out and one in on this list, plus the two guys who are really steadily working for us. And then there's occasional printers. Numabe occasionally works for us. Tetsui-san occasionally works for us, but not enough that I would put them on my staff list. So. We were joking.
Mid-20s.
Was it when you were still there after you'd left? I don't know how many of our printers and stuff came from Adachi. There's Suga-san, Kubota-san, Yamamoto. So we said, this is not Mokuhankan's Shinnenkai, this is an Adachi Obi-kai. Can you see if that party is for 10 o'clock today?
Oh, sure. Take a look.
Right. Up one. Right now.
There it is. Okay.
It should be right here. Just click it right here.
2:30.
2:30. Good. So still no party at 10 o'clock. Thanks.
A big fat red lady in the snow. I don't know that reference to something. Maybe it was when you were talking about picture ideas. I don't know. Did it ever end up snowing down here at all?
It just has 6 and left about 11 o'clock. It was raining. When she came in, it was raining. When we left the party, it was raining. And then when she left at 11, we were just going out the door, and she said, "Well, I don't know, it might snow." She said, "I think so." I don't think it'll snow. And I said, "You just wait." And we opened the door, and bang, it was snow. So, but it was the wet, soft stuff, and you can see now the street's totally dry.
Yeah.
It's on the ground where you are quite a lot, or
Not a lot at all. Just everything has a tiny thin layer of white
so why would the trains have a problem? Or no connection is that?
because all the rain froze, so it turned into ice on the tracks and stuff instead. So
But I would have thought they'd be able to clean it up by the time the morning rush hour.
I would have thought so too, but lots of delays. They turned all the rapid trains that usually skip a lot of stations into locals. They're stopping on every station the whole way.
You've started to send out email notices about dispatch, have you? I think, or
Yes.
something?
Yeah.
I know the group picture we took last night. Have you
Yes.
seen it? Did it turn out okay? Is it all
Yeah,
right?
they look pretty good. I just haven't put them anywhere yet. I wanted to do it on this computer.
So who's missing? Nakamura-san's missing from that one, right?
Right, because she was sick, right?
Sick last night, yeah. She's the only regular staff member that's missing, right? Well, no, Shiba-san. Shiba-san also,
Yeah.
Audrey. Shiba-san and Audrey are missing.
The Wednesday crew.
Yeah. So too bad, actually, three of the girls are gone.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me under the spotlight. Look at that. Is that planned?
I don't
What's
think
that?
so.
I got
So the
white
room's
hair.
pretty dark,
What's that?
except
What's
for you.
that?
You've got
with
this,
my white hair.
You've got this halo above your head.
What?
That looks great. Super washed out for you guys, but in real life, it actually looks pretty good.
Eh.
Says, I've heard your advice regarding carving, but do you have advice for the printing side of things? How do you get started printing?
Advice for copying. I'm not sure what you mean. I don't think.
Just do it. Just go get started, I think is your advice. But printing, you need something to print off of, I guess. So how do you go?
I'm not sure. It's a totally open, generic question. What am I supposed to say? Do you have blocks ready? You don't have blocks ready?
Yeah.
I'm not, without being sarcastic, I don't know what even to say. If you're not familiar with the general process, whatever, go to the woodblock.com website, the encyclopedia, read enough there that shows you through the process, or maybe look at our CD, your first print, that really steps through the process very, very carefully. Look at the Acolytes page, dump some questions over there. I'm sorry, the question here is just so generic, I don't even know how to start to answer it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Small and Round says, I went to the Hokusai Updated exhibition yesterday at the Morty Museum. Have you seen it?
No, I'm sorry. No time to get out there and look at stuff like that. I'm sorry. You see, Updated, I guess, what, every day they're switching prints in and out probably through the show, are they? We were chatting about this in yesterday's stream, the idea of, being a consumer. I don't watch movies, I don't read books, I don't do anything anymore, go to exhibitions.
Yeah.
Just, my life is just totally eaten up by being a producer rather than a consumer. I guess, I don't know. I can't find a balance. We were chatting about this. Some people can find a balance between those two things,
Yeah.
X hours per day production, X hours per day consumption, like work-life balance, in other words, or whatever. And I have been unable to find such a balance. So the idea of going to an exhibition, let's go and see that. I wouldn't have even thought about it. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just... Having said that, we're pretty familiar with his work, and I'm not, so what I would see there that
That you haven't seen.
I don't know about.
We have a lot of his work. Reprintings. Today, Suga-san is doing the last Shomenzuri on the Ukiyo Heroes print.
Oh, good.
And then
I never saw a test of that. I carved the block, but I didn't see it. So it came out okay, did it? Has she tested it? Do you know?
I'm not sure. She just told me this was the last step, so I haven't seen.
So it's dry. So the name has gone in, has it? So
Yeah, she put in the names yesterday.
So we got 2 videos coming together. The video I'm preparing now, it's all in the can, everything.
Oh, great.
I have to finish transitions, and then I got to do voiceovers. And that should have been last night's work if we hadn't had that party.
Yeah.
So presumably today, and there's another thing came up. Was this when you were still there, when you left? This is actually a big deal, Cameron. We have a big problem, a real big problem. And John-san,
Yeah.
he didn't tell us he's got a problem. He's the guy, to the streamer, John-san's the young carver who's carving our subscription prints this year, and on an accelerated schedule to try and really get ahead of the work. At the moment, he's partway through printing the color blocks for number 3. And Ishikawa-san has already got her paper in the freezer. She wants to get started any minute now. Suga-san won't be free for another week or so because she's doing another job. But anyway, long story short, they're ready to get going. Chon-san and Dei-chan came to me last night as we were leaving to tell me about a problem. Chon-san's whole entire hand has swollen up and twisted. He looks like a guy with 90-year-old terrible arthritis. He can't work. And I'm saying, have you been to the doctor? He says, no, it's okay, blah, 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 blah. And Dei-chan says, Dave, you tell him, because he won't go.
Oh, no.
And he says, no, I'm okay, he's going to be okay in a week or whatever, blah. And he can't even hold a knife. So work has stopped at the moment. And Ishikawa-san thinks like she's going to get going tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we call Aoyama-san over the block. So what are we going to do? We sit down, the 4 of us, and say, okay, look, whatever, this is a subscription series. We got to get going. I'm leaving for Canada in a couple of weeks. So give me those blocks. Bring them in tomorrow. And I will, tomorrow, like today, bring them in here, and I will get going and start carving that thing.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, I'll start preparing a block for number 4 for the key block.
Yeah.
And it looks at the moment like now, in the next, when am I leaving? I'm leaving on the 12th.
Yeah.
So I've got 11 days now to finish carving the color blocks for number 3 and do the key block and color blocks for number 4. And he didn't tell me about this. Yikes. He wasn't even going to tell me last night. Oh, I'm okay. And Dei-chan's like, she's almost crying. This. So we have a real problem. Yeah. I've got like 1 or 2 other things I was supposed to do before leaving for Canada, like a lot of sizing and stuff like that. So starting tomorrow morning, the stream here will see me carving the key block for number 4 in this year's subscription series, of which we don't even have a piece of wood ready for it. So we called Aoyama-san over, what's upstairs, what's on the block pile. He hadn't planned on getting that ready for a couple of weeks yet.
Right.
Aoyama-san, tomorrow please. Bang, he says, well, I can't do that tomorrow. So we're trying to have an emergency powwow, how to stretch this out, how to find blocks, how to do this and how to do that. Because the guy tried to man it up and he didn't tell us and didn't go to the doctor and whatever. So, and I have no idea what's happening. This is something that will pass in 2 days, or he's permanently crippled or what. I don't have any idea. But if you see it, his one hand is normal and the other hand is a little bit bent and fat, and you can see giant bumps on each of the joints.
Huh.
It looks like some grotesque, horrible disease. And I have no idea.
Wow, I had no idea either. Because yesterday I heard him hammering.
He's been, gamam. He's a guy.
He's a guy.
Guys. This is clearly why women live longer than guys. Absolutely. Because women will say, like, what can I do to fix this? And guys will say, I'm okay. Right?
Yes,
This is clearly what happens.
Is it gout?
I don't know. I think
I don't know enough about gouts.
I have no personal experience, but my boss back in Canada, the guy from the music store, he was fond of a certain kind of food and certain kind of drinks and stuff, and he had bad gout in one of his feet, and the pain was indescribable. And we know because we were at the other end of the building listening to the guy moan. No! Or if he banged his foot against something, it would be a scream, literally a scream. So gout seems to be extremely sensitive to pain. And John's he was doing this, so it doesn't seem to be.
It's not hurting. It's just looking odd.
And this is fingers, and it's the area that you actually manipulate when you're working. So it would seem to be perhaps a shock-related thing or something, or I don't know. So,
someone says, my mother has a crippled knee because she was a guy about it. Quotes around guy.
Oh. What do you mean? Something that could have been fixed but didn't get fixed because she didn't get attention? That's the point.
Yeah.
Or by the time the guy gets attention, it's already gone to stage 4 or something where it could have been fixed.
Ken Howell says, it's the worst pain I've ever experienced, I think, talking about gout. Wind blowing across my foot was agony. Oh, that sounds horrible.
So this was diet related? I don't know, too much. Too much rich food or wine or something or whatever. I don't know. It's some kind of crystals that build up inside your joints or something. The crystals, as the joint moves, and the crystal inside grinds on both sides.
Sounds awful. Too much protein. So.
Too much protein. Really?
Night God 473. I almost died from a burst appendix because I was a guy about it and walked around it for 5 months.
5 months burst? What? You can't do that. Oh no, 5 months of gradual pain and whatever.
Pain and then it bursts. But I've learned a lesson, he says.
I've got my own experience. I've been a good boy about this. I'm on the right side of this equation, So not something I'm going to chat about here, but there you go.
It's good when something feels or looks different than normal. Go get it checked out. Especially someone who works with his hands all the time. He'd worry about that.
だってそのままそうこれパーティーかでいいよどうぞそうごめんはいさっき音楽で今日体験養育入ってますからまだ
Are you in charge of the 10 o'clock party?
I don't think there is a 10 o'clock party.
Okay, great. Wasn't sure because it's after 9:30 now. I just wasn't sure if you were in a rush to get out.
I am now. I've got about 10 sheets left. I'm going to sit here and finish this. So if you want to get up to your stuff, we can turn the machine back to me, and you can go and get to work. One thing about the mail. In my own personal mail this morning, I turned the computer on, and there was no email. Literally no email.
I opened mine and saw I had like